Well, hello. We are going live. We are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. I am Groot. No, I am Pooch, and I'm your host for Quarantiki number. Uh-oh, I've completely lost track. I didn't put up the sign, so I have no idea what Quarantiki we're in, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Star will fill me in on Star, my wife, the other half of Lovecraft Cocktails, who's sitting. I gestured over there. You of course cannot see her. She is off camera. She is my technical expert, my inspiration, the love of my life, and the one that holds my hair back when things get out of hand. So, what are we gonna do this evening? I'm going to line up 3 different rums here. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Usually when we do a toast on this to start the show off, we just pick a rum and go with that and offer some commentaries on that rum. One of the weaknesses of doing that is that there's no real comparison there. And, well, we have a large number of rums, and it's kind of nice to know how one compares to the other. And so I thought it would be good to reach into the collection of Barbados Foursquare rums and do a quick little tasty testy thing of them to start off the episode. So that's what we're going to do. We've got 3 of the Foursquare, well, 2 of the Foursquare Exceptional Cask series, and then we have the Master Series, and this is a Master Series that was prepared specifically for Total Wine, and is actually only available at Total Wine. There was a long time where mostly Foursquare products were only available at Total Wine, but it's different now. So we have the Isonomy, we have the Indelible, and we have the Master Series to try and taste against one another. The Isonomy comes in at 58% alcohol, so that's the high side here, or at least I hope it is. The Indelible comes in at 48. And the master class is coming in at, oh, I was totally wrong. No, the master class is coming in at a whopping 62. Oh my goodness. So this is going here. Wow.
This is episode 156.
Star says this is episode 156. That's impressive. That's a lot. That's a whole bunch.
We have
We have.
person I wanted to be watching.
The person Star wanted to have watching is in fact watching. I have a hunch I know who that person is, but not for sure. So
Yep, it is.
Well, I don't know. It could be a different person.
No, it's not. It's who you think.
Who do you think? Who do I think?
It's someone that has a birthday today.
Oh, that person is actually watching.
Yes.
Oh, I kind of figured
with their dad.
I figured it would be her mom that was watching.
No,
actually.
no.
Okay. All right. We have a
Family birthday.
Family birthday.
Yes.
And it's a special birthday.
It is.
It's the legal birthday.
It is.
We have a godchild that is turning 21
Yes,
today.
my eldest godchild, Miss Rowan, is turning 21.
Rowan.
Hi, Rowan. Or turned 21 today.
And we are taking this opportunity
To drink.
well, yes, to drink, but we don't really need an opportunity to drink. We just kind of do. No, I think what we are taking this opportunity to do is dispense wisdom.
Yes.
Not necessarily directed at you, Rowan. This is directed at anyone that is starting their cocktail or beverage journey.
Yeah.
Or turning 21 and is kind of curious. Just some things
To know.
To know. Yep.
Yeah.
And so, but first of all,
We're going to drink.
we're going to
We're
drink.
toast.
We're going to toast.
Yeah.
But do you want to taste and then decide which one to toast with?
No, I think we can do multiple toasts.
Multiple toasts.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to start with this one
Okay.
because it is the lowest alcohol.
Okay.
Because if we start with this one, we
Oh,
will
so I
not.
guess we should taste and
We
then
will
go.
not taste
Okay.
this one.
So let's
right?
taste and then
Okay.
we'll toast.
So this is the Indelible. Yes, that's the Indelible. Because I know me, I'd get things mixed up, so I wanted to do that. So if I'm introducing people to rums, and those people are coming into the rum world because of bourbons, ryes, whiskeys.
Yeah, it's got a very rye thing.
This is what I introduced them to, is Foursquare Exceptional Cast Series, because it is going to be most like what they are used to, assuming they're drinking something that isn't rot gut whiskey.
Right. That seems very rye to me.
Rye nose.
Yep.
If anything, I think this has a more of a whiskey nose
Okay.
than the Whistle Pig.
But I mean the taste to me.
Yeah, there's a definite rye element there. I mean, it's kind of bourbonous, but it's much more rye. They're both whiskeys. They're both whiskeys. Rye and bourbon are both whiskeys.
Right.
Rye is, of course, made with rye and has a much more spicy note to it. Not hot spicy, but just, I don't know how to describe it. It's a hotter, more biting kind of flavor to it. Okay, so that was really yummy. We knew that. We knew we liked the Indelible, but we've not had the Indelible alongside the Isonomy, maybe ever. So
Right.
let's give this a shot.
I was grabbing my water.
So, short lesson number 1, tasting alcohol. Drink water between each.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they will just kind of blend
they
together.
blend together.
Yep. All right, so this is the Isonomy. Very different nose. Yeah. It's a little more, almost a Scotch note to that on the nose. I think also a little more ethanol nose to it, which, is befitting the fact that it's another 12% higher in ABV. Right? Yep. You like this one.
I like that one. I like that one a lot.
Lesson number 2 in tasting. Especially as you get higher proof, it is good to take a first sip, run it around in your mouth, swallow it, get it done, or spit it out. Just don't do that with really expensive alcohol. People will get mad at you. And then take a sip for tasting. It sort of acclimatizes the mouth and the palate to do this. Rowan, I'm not suggesting you run right out and start knocking back selections of rum. This is not for you yet.
Yes.
We'll get there. I promise. We'll get there. And we will stop referencing you because I'm like...
She's already blushing. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And this is not meant to embarrass you at all. This is meant...
Education.
And not necessarily directed at you.
Right. It's just this was our excuse.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that.
I like this one.
You like that one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then we have a master series.
Right. God, is my nose dead? Oh no. Oh, there it is. Okay. These days of COVID, if you sniff something that you expect to have a really pungent flavor to it or smell to it, and it doesn't, it's like, well, what just happened? These two have a much more prominent nose than this does. Much hotter. You should do a quick sip and then taste. 62%. 124 proof.
Yeah.
Higher proof does not mean better.
No. I like the Insomnia of all these. And these are different blends, different caskings, different...
The heat really comes through on the master class.
Really comes through on the master
as opposed to this, which they're only 4% different. I mean, these are essentially equivalent.
So the tagline on this one is
Finish on this.
ex-bourbon and ex-Zinfandel barrels. 11 years.
The far end, the masterclass, is a 12-year and ex-bourbon and ex-sherry, and I can really get the sherry notes on the end of this.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
right. This one is a 17-year ex-bourbon.
Straight up ex-bourbon.
Straight up ex-bourbon, no finishing.
Yeah.
So,
I think this is this would be one of those high-end mixing rums. I mean, if you really want a superior rum cocktail
Right.
and you're featuring the rum, the higher proof of this, the sherry notes, works really well. Sipping,
I'm going to take this one.
one of these two probably.
So, what are we toasting tonight?
To all those that are turning 21, regardless of your choice to drink
Or
not drink, whatever. Cheers to you. You're halfway to the magic number 42. Usually on this show, we also talk a little bit about things that we have gotten this week that are tiki-esque or tiki-related. I've been gone most of the last week. I was down in Huntsville, Alabama, and one of the things that I do when I go down to Huntsville, Alabama for work is I try and stop in at the local tiki bar, which is Fat Sammy's. That's P-H-A-T, and where are my paper towels? Oh my word. Oh my stars and garters. Let me see if I can do this. Shove a towel in there. Dun dun dun. Can you see that? Fat Sammy's. Fat Sammy's. Dun dun dun. P-H-A-T, Sammy's. This is a lovely little place. This is not one of the places you would think of if you think of like historical tiki, old school vintage stuff for the most part. Their food is phenomenal. Their food is very, very on point. Excuse me, extremely tasty. I've had their ramen there. I've had their curried chicken. They do a Korean fried chicken that is quite good. We've had all sorts of wonderful things over the couple of times that we've been to Fat Sammy's. The second time around, the service was vastly improved over the first time that we went. I don't know, they may have just been having a bad night the first time we went there. But they impressed me enough to where I went ahead and got their Fat Sammy's glass. I was a little saddened by the fact that they appeared to not have, believe it or not, any orange liqueur on hand. So there was no Grand Marnier, there was no Triple Sec, there was no Curacao, and that took a lot of drinks off of the menu. Are there some slip-ups in their drinks? Absolutely. You should never serve a rum old-fashioned over copious amounts of crushed or pebble ice. No, that's just watering it down. But we did have a number of drinks that night. It was all quite good. It was much fun. So, if you happen to be in Rocketown, USA, that would be Huntsville, Alabama, stop in at Fat Sammy's. You can tell them Lovecraft Cocktails sent you, but they will have no idea who the heck that is. But anyway, go ahead and do it. There's a couple of my buttons back there somewhere on some of their staff. So we know that exists. So that's what we got. We got our little Fat Sammy's glass. Star also has started, dun dun dun, started the new season of garage sailing, and that means tiki stuff or swag from garage sales. This actually appears like it might have been hand carved, and just little etchings here and there. It's just a little cute paddle boat canoe thing. I think it's cute. It's going to go up as decoration somewhere in here.
Much more reasonable than the canoes that we often see at tiki bars.
Yes, so we can hang this from the ceiling in our tiki bar without having to reinforce the joists, which is usually the case of what you have to do in the tiki bars. So what are we going to talk about this evening? We are, in fact, going to talk about sort of cocktailing 101. So we'll talk a little bit about some cocktail lingo, some about cocktail families, but not a whole lot. We'll talk about like some really popular cocktails, especially sort of cocktails for beginners, a little bit about differences in bars, and I'm going to give you some rules to live by when it comes to drinking. And these don't necessarily apply to new drinkers. These apply to all drinkers around the world. But let's talk let's talk lingo, first of all, because I know going out to a bar and drinking, especially if you're not just knocking back beers or something, can be intimidating. The cocktail world has its own lingo, and knowing what to order and what not to order, and what do you like, and if I order something that I don't like, what do I do, and all of those things, it can be just incredibly intimidating. Rule number 1, go out with friends that know cocktails. It will help. You can rely upon them to steer you in the right direction. You can also rely upon them to drink things that you don't like. So, that's all good. One of the things to remember is that almost all cocktails are going to come in at about 2 ounces of alcohol. So be careful and understand 2 ounces of alcohol in each one of those cocktails. Just a warning. Cocktail lingo. So what does it mean for something to be served neat? Well, first of all, never, well, let me not gatekeep. You can do this, but it will immediately mark you as new to the drinking. Do not order something neat or up on ice. This is neat. It is not chilled. It is poured out of the bottle or out of whatever mixing pitcher they did directly into the glass. No cooling has been applied. This is room temperature. That is neat. It's usually referred to in terms of shots, but doesn't always have to be. So that's neat. What is up?
Neat is how Star drinks her single malt.
Neat is how Star drinks her single malt. Yes, absolutely. You will sometimes put a little water in it. That doesn't change anything. It's still neat. What does it mean to serve something up? Star, do you have a guess? If it's not neat...
Up is on the rocks, isn't it?
Up is not on the rocks.
Oh.
Up means it has been chilled,
Oh.
usually with ice, but it is served up, as in there's no ice in this glass, right? So neat, no ice has touched it. Up, ice has touched it. It's been diluted and cooled a little bit, but it is served without ice.
So like a daiquiri.
Generally, yeah. Mhm.
You generally shake and
Yep.
cool the daiquiri.
Yep. Daiquiris
and
can be
then
strange
drink it.
because you can do like frozen daiquiris and things
Right.
like that. But yes,
Traditional daiquiris.
daiquiris are served that way. Yep. On the rocks. On the rocks is the easy one to remember. It means it's being served
With
on ice, right? If you specify on a rock, you're generally specifying a single large rock. The great news is most of the time you don't need to know this lingo. You point to the menu and say, I would like this cocktail, and they will serve it to you in the preferred way to serve that particular cocktail, taking the guesswork out of it. So neat, up, on the rocks, most of the time, don't need to know that. Second piece that you kind of do need to know is if you order a cocktail and your bartender, waitron person asks you, would you like a particular spirit with that? Know that they are asking you to literally name the spirit that you would like. So if it is a gin and tonic, and they say, do you have a particular spirit or something similar to that? They are asking you if you would like, say, Bombay Sapphire or Tanqueray or any one of the other brands of gin that are out there. The most common response, unless you really know what you want, is no thank you, well is fine. If you don't have a preference, they will serve you whatever their well gin is or whatever their well rum is. You can always ask, what is your well? And they will tell you what the well spirit is for that particular cocktail. So if you order, for instance, the #1 most popular cocktail in the United States, which is a margarita, and they say, do you have a tequila preference? And you say, no, your well is fine. They will generally reach for the Cuervo 1800 that they have under the counter, you hope. If it's anything worse than that, you might be in trouble there.
It also, when they ask you, do you have a spirit, it is also a chance for them to upsell you.
It is. Generally, if you are asking for a particular spirit, the cocktail will be somewhat more expensive than their general well drinks. Also, happy hours. Happy hours are almost always whatever their well beverage is or whatever their well spirits are. It's rare that they would have a happy hour where you can call your own gin or spirit, whatever the spirit is of choice. All right, so far so good. Seems to me that doing a lot of talking, not so much on the drinking, and I believe I in fact mentioned the Margarita. Margarita, again, #1 most popular cocktail in the United States.
To the point that very, very soon, tequila will outsell vodka. It's not quite there.
I'm a little shocked. Star is
almost there.
Star is telling me that tequila sales may in fact outstrip vodka sales.
I heard that on
soon.
WTOP.
That's incredibly impressive. It really is.
We have a greetings from Keith.
Hello, Keith. Keith, we're making a margarita now. We are going to go with. You can use standard simple syrup with this, but in most cases, at a good bar, reasonable bar, they will probably use something like agave syrup, which is just a syrup made from the agave plant. It is also made with lime juice, not lemon juice.
Here's the official. The distilled agave drink is on track to become the most valuable liquor category by 2023, which would unseat vodka, according to IWSR, a purveyor of market information on the industry.
That's pretty impressive. It really is.
Spirits contributed $1.6 billion to the spirits industry in 2022.
That's billion with a B. Okay, I took this out. I know it's here somewhere. What did I do with it?
And tequila and mezcal have outpaced whiskey.
Okay, I know that I drug out my bottle of Grand Marnier because the thing that marks this cocktail as different from a standard sour, which is sweet, sour component, distilled spirit, is the fact that it is lengthened with a little bit of an orange liqueur. I could have sworn I pulled out the Grand Marnier.
Dry curacao.
Yeah, I can go ahead and use the dry curacao, unless you want to look in the back to see.
I'll look in the back.
No, it's right here. Duh. Grand Marnier, right in front of my face. So Grand Marnier and the Hydrate. Now, sweetener, sour, alcohol. Together, this combination is what's known as a sour. We're going to add a little bit of an orange liqueur to this. You could use Grand Marnier, you could use a curacao, you could use a triple sec, all three of which are in fact orange liqueurs of some sort that have slight differences in their flavor profiles. We're going to use Grand Marnier, which marks this as a Cadillac margarita because you're using Grand Marnier. Ooh. What's the matter, kitten?
He brought a toy. I want someone to play.
Nobody's playing with the kitty. All right. Quarter ounce. There's quarter ounce of your agave syrup. Quarter ounce agave syrup. We're going to let that trip in there. All right, so that's nice. That's sweet. That's okay. Now we need a 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. Now you might be thinking, gee, if you are spirit savvy, that seems like a very small amount of sweetener when you're going with 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. And you would be right. The trick is, your orange liqueur is adding sweetness to this, and in particular, Grand Marnier is very definitely on the sweet side, being distilled from cognac. So we are going to go a 1/2 ounce, right? No, this actually calls for 3/4 of an ounce of the Grand Marnier. Grand Marnier is lovely over ice cream, and if you want to get used to the flavor of an orange liqueur, pouring some over ice cream is a really nice way to do that. It really is. And next up is tequila. Now, if you're ordering a standard margarita, you're going to get their well tequila, which is not at all going to be tequila Hydrate. Chances are, if you order a Cadillac Margarita, you'll get something that is a little higher quality in the tequila, as well as using the Grand Marnier. 2 ounces. And that's it. Oh, that tequila is lovely. We love the Hydrate tequila. For a lower end tequila, we would generally use Terramana, which is the rocks tequila. Speaking of rocks, we're going to put some ice in here. We're going to shake this up, and then we are going to strain it into a glass. Some of you may be saying, but Pooch, aren't you going to salt the rim? Could. Not feeling really necessary to salt the rim, but a little salt does in fact go pretty well in these kinds of cocktails. And we have some saline solution, so I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3 drops of the saline solution. Now you will bear with me here, my saline solution is blue. I know that seems weird. It's because the salt I was using is blue colored and kind of vibrantly blue. It may turn this Joel drink blue, which would be a very strange margarita. But here we go. You want that nice and cold, bitty cold. And then you're going to want some form of margarita glass. In this case, we are going to use these guys, and we are going to strain this in there.
So you're serving it up.
I am, in fact, serving it up. Oh, good. It didn't come out blue. I was so afraid that was going to come out blue.
We did get something else new.
We did not get a new cat.
But he got a new shirt.
He did.
Because the other ones were really tight on him.
Poor
Because
guy.
he's our little big...
Little big guy?
boy.
He's our big little guy?
Yeah, so he has a new tiki shirt.
It's pink. It's pink.
Yes.
It's pink.
It goes nice with his gray.
Yes, pink and gray. It's a good combination. Normally, this would be served with a lime wheel or lime wedge. This is a lime. I know it doesn't look like a lime, but it is a lime. Star went to the grocery store and she bought citrus today, and one of the things that she found was something called a sweet lime.
Sweet lime.
Which I'd never heard of before. So we are going to investigate this. She did, in fact, look it up and told me some information about it. Like, for one thing, that if it's a true sweet lime, you can actually just eat this out of hand. I'm not sure whether that's going to happen. But there you go. That is a margarita. Oh, that's a very nice smell to it.
Nice smell.
Although it's a little bit lemon pledgy.
Oh, wow. It's like almost artificial lemon smelling.
Yeah, it's weird. All right, shall we?
Yes.
Margarita, #1 cocktail in the United States.
Yeah. Comes traditional. It comes with salt. It comes without salt. It comes frozen. It comes not. You can get a mezcal margarita.
You can get it on the rocks. You can get it
get
up.
a blueberry margarita.
Right.
You can get all kinds of things.
I like mine up as opposed to on the rocks. But most places are going to want to serve it to you on the rocks. Right?
I love a margarita.
Or they will want to serve it to you frozen margaritas. Which are totally a thing. They're a little harder to do because you've got to manage the sweet component, so the sugar and the alcohol, in order to get that slushy effect. So if they can do a good one, more power to them. So there you go. #1 cocktail in the United States, margarita. Slightly sweet, slightly sour, a little orange flavor to it. And unless you're using a really powerful tequila, the tequila does not come through in the usual, in the funk that a bad tequila will have. And so I really like, the way that that turned out. I think the Grand Marnier Cadillac Margarita is a wonderful way to ease into margaritas as well, because Grand Marnier does in fact cause that to be a little bit on the sweeter side. But most people aren't going to be wandering into a bar unless it happens to be, a Mexican food establishment and ordering a margarita for the very first time that they go out or when they start off. Be careful, he's going to eat the buttons right off that shirt.
Holly says it's number one because margaritas are super yummy.
Margaritas are, in fact, super yummy. They are.
Says it's cute. I think she was talking about Dunder's shirt.
Probably talking about Dunder's shirt, yes, and not the cocktail.
And Keith says that looks delicious.
Star, if you would, I need this cleaned out. The margarita is an example of sort of a middle-of-the-road cocktail. It is not a fruit-forward or sweet-forward cocktail. It's a pretty standard sour. At the other end of the spectrum, you have, at one end of the spectrum, you have spirit-forward cocktails. And what do we mean by a spirit-forward cocktail? Those are cocktails that are really emphasizing the nature of the spirit that you are drinking, as opposed to the melding of flavors together into some sort of harmonious, balanced whole. What they want to do is accentuate the flavor of the booze that you're having. An example of this would be the old-fashioned. So the old-fashioned is what you might call an ancestral drink. The old-fashioned is nothing more than usually a little tiny bit of sugar, some bitters, and the spirit, and usually a significantly large rock to cool that down, give it a little dilution. But what you are essentially having there is a slightly sweetened version of whatever hard alcohol you might be having. This leads me to rule number one. Rule number one is came to us by way of the Misbehavin Maidens. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Who their last show is happening. They're disbanding.
Oh, the Misbehavin Maidens are disbanding. That's very sad. The first rule, though, is taken from the name of one of their songs, and it's taken. And I have a button on this side of the hat that has the words from that rule on them, which is "Drinks don't have a fucking gender." Pardon my language. No, don't pardon my language. They don't. They don't have a fucking gender. What do I mean by that? Look, if you're a complete girly girl and you want to go in and order yourself a spirit-forward old-fashioned or knock back a scotch up, neat, whichever, fine, do it. If you are some big bruiser of a guy and you're so macho, but what you really like are tutti fruity drinks with with pineapple and an umbrella coming out of them, or maybe you just like a Cosmo, something pink with vodka and cranberry juice and maybe a little orange to it. Fine. Don't let anyone tell you that whatever kind of drink you are ordering says something about you as a person. That's ridiculous. Order what you want. And that includes, most importantly, it includes non-alcoholic beverages. If you don't want to drink, that doesn't say anything about you as a person. There's no reason why you have to go out and drink even when your friends are going out and drink. There are ways that you can participate in the drinking fun without knocking back straight cocktails. Star, did you have a point? Or you were just sticking your finger in your eye?
I was just sticking my finger in my eye.
Okay, she's just sticking her finger. I thought she was raising her hand.
No.
Hello, I want to speak. One of the great things that you can do is you can drink really low ABV things that allow you some element of that drinking spirit, that drinking culture, without having to go down the fact of, oh, if I order something, that's 2 ounces of alcohol. I'm not really keen on the flavor of alcohol by itself anyway. So if you'll bear with me for just a second, I'm going to fetch something from the back. This, my dear friends, is a bottle of club soda. That's all it is, bottle of club soda. One of my favorite things to do when I am drinking is to take a pause. And sure, you can just take a pause and drink some water if you want, which will bring us to another rule in just a second. Want to ease into drinking? Want to ease into bar culture? Don't want to drink, but you're at a bar with your friends and you just want to have fun with them. Fine. Go up to your bartender and say, "Excuse me, what bitters do you have?" And they will rattle off a whole bunch of bitters until you hear something that sounds good to you, like, oh, I don't know, tart spiced cherry bitters, or Peychaud's or Angostura or orange, or any of the other kinds of bitters that might be out there. And when he gets to one that you think sounds good, say, "Can I have that with some club soda, please?" And they will go, "Okay, sure." And they will take a few dashes of those bitters, like such. And they will add them to some club soda, like such. Probably add a lime to it, just because, just makes it look prettier. Let's see if we can do this. Or they can just take that, put it there, stick a straw in it. Not a Surfside sip straw. Mix that a little bit. Voila! You have a really fizzy thing that looks remarkably like a gin and tonic or any one of the other longer drinks. There's almost no alcohol in this particular cocktail, but there's going to be a lot of power packed in the flavor of the bitters. Bitters themselves can be fairly high in alcohol content. This is 45%. But as opposed to having 2 ounces of something that's 45%, you're having like 4 dashes, right? And yet, this has a nice, refreshing flavor. It's like almost a non-alcoholic seltzer in that realm. It's not as heavy or as sweet as a soda. And so very nice. And you can always say, I need a little more flavor in there, and they can come back and they can add a few more dashes because they'll do that. Because bitters are really not that expensive to bars.
Right. So we, for example, I'm going to pick up a few bitters here.
We have a lot of bitters.
We've got mole bitters. We've got allspice bitters. We've got orange bitters.
Spiced cherry bitters.
Plum bitters.
There you go.
We've got ginger bitters.
And this, like I said, brings me...
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's simple, easy, and you're out with friends, and you know what you're doing?
I'm drinking.
You're drinking. More importantly, you have reached rule number 2.
Drink what you like.
Nope, that's not rule number 2.
Sorry.
Rule number 2 is hail hydrate. Now this applies no matter whether you are a brand new drinker or whether you are an old seasoned vet. You should be drinking water. Whether that's club soda, tonic water, regular water, drink water. Alcohol is diuretic. Alcohol pulls water out of your system. So you will want to drink water. If you don't normally drink water, you should drink water if you're drinking alcohol. Make sure you make a point to know how much alcohol you're having and how much water you are having, and punctuate your drinking with copious amounts of water. Good bars will serve you water up front when you are asking for cocktails. They will start you with the water, it will be there, they will keep it flowing for you, because the bar has no interest in you being sloppily intoxicated or ever being sick, because you won't come back to that bar. They want to keep you hydrated, so let them drink water, hail hydrate. That's rule number 2, and the cocktail for that is a club soda and bitters. Love seltzer and bitters. And it's a good way to test different kinds of bitters to see if you like them. By the way, I haven't said what the heck bitters are. Bitters are a variety of different kinds of herbs, roots, fruits, peels, that sort of thing that has had their flavor extracted by putting them in high octane booze, like, well, really high octane vodka primarily, and then diluted down back to something that is actually drinkable. You're not normally, I mean, don't do this. There are folks out there that drink bitters straight. It's kind of silly. Don't do that. But as a flavor ingredient, think of bitters as kind of spices for your cocktail. You can add a little bit of spiced cherry to that particular cocktail. It's like the salt and pepper or your spice cabinet. Oh, look, this is a curry bitters right for my cocktail. Right? So there you go. There's rules number 1. Number 2. Rule number 3. Drink what you like. Going back to rule number 1. But know what you're drinking. And there is a lot to this rule. First of all, on a snobbish note, there is the know what you are drinking, as in know how that was distilled, know what you're getting out of that. So know the difference between rums like these that have no additives other than color to them versus rums that add glycerin or other components to them, add sugar back in. Not so much because there's anything bad with that, but just knowing what you are drinking is valuable. But that's kind of an advanced interpretation of this particular rule.
Who is that quote from?
That is Richard
Seale?
Is it Richard Seale or Ed Hamilton? I think it's Richard Seale. Almost sure it's Richard Seale. More importantly, I think is, and this is a reason why I kind of advocate drinking with good friends and family, at least in small quantities, so that you know what it is that you are drinking when someone serves you a drink. So if you go to a club sometime and this really cute person of whatever gender you find yourself attracted to happens to buy you a drink, this way you can tell the difference between a rum and coke that is made with rum and a rum and coke that is made with 151 proof rum. Know the difference between those. Know what you're drinking. And that's as you do more drinking, you have a better refined sense of, oh, I can tell the difference between a standard rum and coke and something else that, this seems a little different, this seems a little higher proof or a little higher octane, and just being able to know the differences between those. I think it's important at this point to digress, and here, this is my cue to Star, that she's going to want to do a little bit of a change in her routine.
Got it.
So I want to talk a little bit about the kinds of drinks that you can get in places.
And the IBA.
And the IBA, yes. There are bars that are, how I would describe them as strictly and bars, right? Their cocktails, aside from like a margarita and a daiquiri, are largely going to be limited to things like a gin and tonic, a rum and coke, a vodka soda. Those sorts of things are their specialty. These are generally high volume bars, and they are often the staple of, say, the college bar scene. Most of the time, these bars will also have either shots or some other funny named drinks on the menu for you to try. Now, shots are generally served in either a shot glass like this or a slightly taller glass. Those are designed for you to just simply take that glass and knock it back. That's what a shot glass is for. You are shooting your cocktail. These cocktails often can taste really, really good, but they are not intended to be sipping cocktails. Often they're incredibly sweet. Oftentimes they belie a very high alcohol content to them because it's not on your tongue long enough for you to even taste the alcohol. Tastes really yummy. Be careful of shots. Shots can be bad, especially going, I'll have one of those, and that looks pretty. I'll have one of those, and oh, that looks pretty too. I'll have one of those. Be careful. Stay on target here. Know what you're drinking. If those 5 different shots are all different colors and all different alcohols, you're probably not going to have a very great next morning. So let's just keep in mind, know what you're drinking. There's really no scientific validity to the difference between whether you're drinking 2 gin cocktails or 3 gin cocktails and then suddenly have a rum cocktail, or whether you have a gin cocktail, a rum cocktail, a whiskey cocktail, and a sake cocktail. The alcohol is what matters, but the anecdotal evidence is just way up there that the more you mix different ingredients, the more likely you're going to have a bad evening. There are also, and this is an important thing to note, if there's an ingredient on a cocktail menu that you don't know what is, ask. This is particularly important for anybody that has any kind of allergies. There are a lot of liqueurs out there that are made from nuts of some sort, so if you happen to know anybody that has a nut allergy, for instance, knowing what's in that particular liquor or that particular syrup can be incredibly important to you. Orgeat is a primary ingredient in a lot of tiki cocktails. Basically, it's an almond milk syrup. If you have somebody that you know in your life that's allergic to almonds, knowing that orgeat is an almond syrup is a good thing to know. So, know what you're drinking. Drink whatever you like. I don't care. It goes back to drinks don't have a fucking gender. Just know what it is you're drinking, what is in that glass that you are going to be consuming. This also means, this is, and it's a sorry state of affairs that we have to say this in today's world, but if you're out, don't leave your glass unattended. Just don't. I don't care who you are, just don't. All right, let's not be too much of a downer here. What I'm going to do is show you a drink that used to be incredibly popular. It was so popular it used to be on the International Bartenders Association list of cocktails. It's now has been removed from that list. It's no longer current. It is a riff off a drink called the Godfather, and it is called the Godmother. And since Star is Rowan's godmother, we're actually going to make a Godmother cocktail. But I'm going to change it up a little bit, and we're not going to be doing a standard Godmother cocktail. We're going to be doing a fairy Godmother cocktail. So here we go. The ingredients for this cocktail are about as simple as you can get. They are this is a 2-ingredient cocktail. And yes, for you, I am willing to delve into the back cabinet and pull out a bottle of vodka. I didn't do this. It was a present. It was given to me. And when the person that gave it to me is coming back, I can give it back to them. Oh! Yes. It requires vodka, and it requires amaretto. That's it. Well, okay, there's one other ingredient that goes in this, and that is ice. So we're going to start with the IBA version, International Bartenders Association version of that, which is equal parts vodka and amaretto pulled together in a single cocktail. Okay, so let's do that. Bear in mind, I've never had a Godmother. I have no idea what this is going to be like, nor do I know what the fairy Godmother is going to do to this. So we're going to go, oh, this bottle is heavy. Wow. There's 1 ounce of vodka. Paul McCartney is playing right now. This is not Di Serono. It is D'Amore Amaretto. Perfectly reasonable amaretto. An almond liqueur. Does it say almond anywhere on the front of this? I don't know. I can't read this. The nutty flavor of bitter almonds. Yeah, okay. So that should be a tip-off, right? These are often built in a glass instead, so you would take just a simple rocks glass like this, pour the ingredients in with some ice, and just stir it up, and you would be done. We're going to do this in a mixing pint because I'm going to add 1 more ingredient to this cocktail, and we're going to convert this from the Godmother to shaky, 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 the Tutti Frutti Fairy Godmother! Yeah, so this is a pink with glitter alcohol that is made for us, not for us in particular, but for Us, the World, by Don Chichi Feely. This is also called Electrica, and this was released, I think, last year, which is in June. So we're going to add...
And Danielle was our hero. And
Yes.
got some.
It's sparkly. It's got glitter in it, so that's going to go in there. Right. Now then, I should point out, this is a drink called the Fairy Godmother. How sweet! How awesome! Oh, it's so cute! This is a spirit-forward cocktail. There's nothing in here except booze. Yes, amaretto is quite a sweet liqueur, but this is the deceptiveness that is important when drink what you like, but know what you're drinking, because this cocktail has got some serious oomph behind it and isn't going to taste like it.
Why does it have glitter?
Why does it have glitter?
Because they can.
Because they can, yeah.
It was for pride.
It was for pride, glitter, pride, all of that goes together just fine. Another hint, if you've ordered a drink and you do not like a spirit-forward cocktail and you see your bartender doing this, you have ordered a spirit-forward cocktail, find one of your friends that like spirit-forward cocktails and hand them this drink. Take a taste of it and then hand it to them. You might be surprised whether or not you like this.
Stirring as opposed to shaking.
Stirring as opposed to shaking. Oh. Okay. Now, I give a lot of grief to folks that drink vodka. My feeling is that vodka is largely, well, it is designed to be a spirit with very little flavor to it, if any flavor. And therefore, it appeals to first-time drinkers who are still trying to get their taste buds around the fact that they don't actually like the flavor of alcohol. And so a lot of vodka drinks tend to be the things that people start with. But that's fine. If you want to order a vodka soda, which is a nothing alcohol, with club soda, which is a nothing soda besides bubbles in it, I don't care. Go for it if you want to. You don't have to drink. Remember, do not have to drink. Here is the Fairy Godmother, which turned out lightly pink in color.
Which matches my shirt.
Which kind of matches your shirt. And it's got glitter
What
in
does my
it.
shirt say?
It says, the Fairy Godmother.
It says the Godmother.
It says the Godmother. The wand is, you know, it's intended to be fairy-esque.
That's not bad.
No. What is this? Lovecraft cocktails. Oh, there's a little Cthulhu and a tiki mug.
I'm going to show this on the camera.
Oh, that's very cool. That's very cool. But the reason why I did this, aside from the fact that Star is in fact Rowan's Fairy Godmother, yep, is that cocktail names can be deceptive. And you really do want to know what it is you're drinking, get some sense of how strong that particular cocktail is. The other really nice thing to know is that bartenders are not in the business of serving you cocktails that you don't like. Often, if you take a couple of sips of it and you go, wow, this is not what I thought it was, can I turn this back? Often bartenders, as long as they're not slammed, will be happy to make you a different cocktail. They're there to make your experience happier. They're not in the business of just making you miserable and making you kill something that you don't like.
Now, I have had a cocktail that was too spirit forward for me.
Mm-hmm.
And asked the bartender to dilute it more.
Sure.
And what he did is he added more ice, reshook it, and served it with some club soda added to it.
Right. There are a lot of classic cocktails that the cocktail itself is essentially one of your ancestral cocktails, and then that is just lengthened into what is called a highball by providing some tonic water or some club soda to it and just making a longer cocktail out of it and diluting that. Drinking well does not mean drinking the highest octane that you can. In fact, I would argue that the reason for drinking should be because you enjoy drinking, not because you're trying to get drunk. That said, I will give you another rule, and that is you should know why you are drinking. It is fine if you want to drink for effect. It is fine if what you want to do is just have a drink or two to be sociable with your friends. It is fine if what you want to do is become some sort of rum snob and hang out with me and drink high-end rums all the time. Not all the time. I really don't drink rum all the time. Any of those are viable. So is not drinking. Know why you're drinking. Know what your intent behind drinking is. If it is to have a nice cocktail that complements your meal, that's fine. That tells you something about what you might want to order as your cocktail, and will also tell you something about how many of those you should probably have. Yes?
If your goal on drinking is to hit that bowling, I'm a good bowler, and now I'm not, and you're drinking kamikazes until they stop coming, but know that in advance. I had a driver. I made sure I ate well beforehand. I made sure I had plenty of water.
Star's not a good bowler. When she relaxes, she becomes a better bowler, and the drinking helped her become a better bowler up to a point.
Yeah.
And then it was very clear she had crossed over into
and I pretty
I'm
much
too relaxed
only
at that
do
point.
kamikaze shots on my birthday, but I do a lot of them. But
And you sip them too.
that's my goal.
Yep. You usually ask for more ice, and then
Right.
you transform it
Right.
into a sipping cocktail.
Yeah.
Going along with this, know why you are drinking, and this may be the most controversial of these. I don't think any of these are particularly controversial up to this point. This anecdote, or not anecdote, this, I don't know, sub-piece of a rule, I don't know what you call that. I do think that if you are going to make drinking part of your life, that you should find a group of close friends, family, and experience what it is like to be seriously intoxicated once in your life. Now, if you choose to do that more times after that, that's okay. If you choose to never, ever get to that point again, that's okay. Why do I say this? There's a couple of reasons. One is you should know what being intoxicated feels like, because it can definitely sneak up on you, and you want to know what the effects of alcohol are upon you, how you react to it, what kind of effects it has. Secondly, that tells you something about where your limits are. You'll know something about what your own body's tolerance is for alcohol. Crucially important here is this ties in neatly to the Hail Hydrate, because Hail Hydrate will also give you the time to go, yep, I'm feeling a little tipsy, I'm feeling a little intoxicated. Whereas if you were just throwing back cocktails, you start to feel intoxicated and you're still in the midst of a cocktail, yeah, you can blow past that point very, very easily. The other thing is that people react to being intoxicated differently. That you have sad, morose, intoxicated people. You get melancholy individuals that have a fondness for nostalgia. That's my wife that does that when she gets intoxicated.
Depends on what I'm drinking.
Yeah. You get people that get really angry when they get drunk. It's really important to know if you're one of those angry, drunk individuals. Do you get belligerent? You should know that before you go out drinking out in a public venue. Some people just get really chummy and happy. Others, it's just a matter of knowing what the reaction is that you have to alcohol. So be careful about who you do this around, but pick a group of people that you are very comfortable with. And the really nice thing about doing that is that if you are out with a large group of people, or if you are home with a large group of people in a large bar like this, you can always that's interesting, could I have a sip of that? And you can have a sip of that and go, oh no, I don't like that, or oh, that's so much better than the thing that I'm currently drinking, right? And find the things that you like to drink. I did not start out this drinking adventure of mine by mixing up these incredibly intricate tiki cocktails or these very sophisticated, incredibly balanced cocktails like a martini or something else like that. That is not at all how I started. Star, do you know how I started? What I started with?
Rum and Coke?
Darn right. We're going to do a high-end rum and Coke. This is what I started with, was drinking rum and Cokes. And if you order a rum and Coke in a bar, chances are you are going to get Coke and some well rum, usually something like Bacardi. If they have Captain Morgan, they will probably ask you if you would like a spiced rum in that, or if would you like
Captain and Coke
Captain.
is my and bar drink.
Right, Captain and Coke. There you go. You can say Captain Morgan and Coke. That's fine. You can say spiced rum and Coke. That's fine. If they ask you what kind of rum you want with that, look on the back bar and see what they have, and generally just pick one. Not a big deal. But you can improve the standard rum and Coke by doing different things, like crafting your own cola, which is what we're going to do here, sort of, in the sense of we are going to use Libra & Co.'s cola syrup, which is made with sugarcane, which is really, really yummy. So I'm going to reach in here, and I'm going to pull out a scoop of some pebble ice and put that in. There is also a drink called the Cuba Libra, and often at bars you will get, if you order a rum and Coke, you will get a Cuba Libra, because they will squirt a little bit of lime juice and then throw a lime wedge in your rum and Coke, and you've instantly converted a rum and Coke to a Cuba Libra, because a rum and Coke is because a Cuba Libra is a rum and Coke with lime juice. There you go. That's it. All right, so this recipe here calls for a 1/4 ounce of cola syrup. We discovered that we actually like a little bit more cola syrup in our cocktail, so we're going to go a 1/2 ounce. Oh, this smells so good. 1/2 ounce. There you go. 1.5 ounces of rum. Now, generally, you are getting a light rum with this, but I don't want to do that. I want to go with something else. Now, you will often get Bacardi. You will not often get Bacardi 10-year. So this is like the most uppity Bacardi rum and Coke you can possibly have. Well, not entirely, because there's much better.
There's higher end.
There's higher end, right? So we're going to do 1.5 ounces. There's 1 ounce. And there's 1/2. This is going to be a Cuba Libra, as opposed to being just a standard rum and Coke. So I'm going to need lime juice. And the lime juice, how much do they say? They want 1/4 ounce of lime juice in here. That seems good.
Oh, and I can say, you can actually just eat a sweet lime.
Oh, Star apparently is noshing on the sweet lime and saying that you can in fact do that. Next up, 3 ounces club soda or soda water. Do not use tonic water. Tonic water has quinine in it. Quinine is one of those things that sounds like a poison but actually isn't, but it is water. It is fizzy water that has essentially been infused, and as a consequence is pretty bitter. You don't want to do that. All right, so there we go. That's all of the ingredients that we need for our Cuba Libra. There is lime, there is now rum, and there is cola, because we've put cola syrup and we have put club soda in there. So I'm just going to give this a quick stir. Mix those ingredients up. Could probably use a lele stick for this. Give this a quick taste. That's quite delightful. I'm going to add a little more ice. There you go. We're going to stick a straw in this. We're going to go ahead and reach over here and grab a Surfside Sip straw. just like that. And there you have Cuba Libra. I'm going to add a sweet lime wedge to that, or actually a wheel, just because that's going to be easier for me to do. I know, it looks like it's a lime, or it looks like it's a lemon, but it's not actually. That is a really, really good rum and coke. Remember when I said, know what you're drinking? You can drink this and go, wait, that doesn't taste like a rum and coke to me. But knowing that, oh, the reason this doesn't taste like a rum and coke, a standard rum and coke, is because they're not using this can. They're using something like this. When they say homemade cola, you know that the flavor profile is going to be different. And you can go, they're not trying to slip something into my drink.
Right. That's
what this is. It does have a really just strange smell to it.
God, that's good.
This is really sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If you buy, so for the cocktail makers out there.
Do you want a sip of this? Because it's going to disappear.
Sure. Would you rather have a normal rum and coke?
No.
Yeah, I'll come back to that. Maybe. So, there are 1,001 things I could say about starting out on a journey of drinking cocktails. But the first one is, of course, you don't have to. If you don't want to drink, you don't have to drink. Come see me. I'll give you some guidelines on things you can drink that aren't going to be alcoholic or that are going to be incredibly low in alcohol and allow you to have a wonderful night out with your friends that are drinking and have a beautiful time. That said, if you want to have a soda, you want to have a club soda with a twist of lime, you want to just drink water, you can. There's no reason why you have to drink alcoholic beverages. But if you do, hopefully this has been a little bit educational in terms of kinds of things to drink, some of the lingo, some of the language around different kinds of cocktails, and hopefully made this a little less mystifying, I guess, hopefully.
And happy birthday.
And to all those that are turning 21, but most especially our dear Rowan out there, happy birthday. And enjoy your probably club soda and bitters. And for God's sake, don't drink the Chianti your dad's drinking. Oh. All right, we'll talk to you all later. Next week will be episode 157? 157, yeah. So wow, we're really getting up there in terms of the number of these that we're done, done, that have been done and that we're still doing. I don't know.
Like 84 on YouTube.
Yep. You can have a lot of fun drinking. You can have a lot of fun not drinking.
Technically, her dad drinks Chianti and port, but not at the same time.
Okay, that was, I was very glad to understand that that was not at the same time, that he was not drinking a mix of Chianti and port. Nope, we're not going to go there. No, I'm pretty sure that's just not a winner. Anyway, we'll talk to you all next week. Remember, the end is nigh, and we're going to sign off as soon as I find something to drink. Oh no, I can't sign off without something to drink. Here we go. Might as well. This is the, this is the 62%, isn't it? This is the master class. Have fun, folks. Have a good week. We'll see you later.